What is going on, everybody? Collin here with CH Sports, bringing you guys some more disc golf coverage of the Northwest. And we are very happy to be back. For those of you that don't know, we were on a brief intermission from producing coverage. I was bringing in my baby boy into the world, and now we're back to doing coverage. Here's some coverage from an event that I filmed in the off-season out at Wilder. It's the Oregon Coast Championships. Thanks to Charles McLean for having us out there. And here's our feature card for round one. We've got Trevor Snyder from Southern Oregon. We've got Daniel Kitchens, forehand extraordinaire. We've got Tyee Rilatos, local to the course. And then we've got Mr. Micah Morehead, comes from Sweet Home. Yeah, lots of power, backhand and forehand. So straight into it, we've got Danny Kitchens off the tee here. Hole one, we've got 385 playing uphill, playing more like 410, 420. Really just want to kind of keep it straight, out of the weeds on the left and the right. And pretty forgiving green. Plenty of space. So Trevor ripping this over a little bit. That's going to be a bit of a tricky up and down. And now we've got Micah here. Like I said, super smooth form. Lots of power with both shot types, and that's getting up in there into circle one. That should do for a good look for birdie. And then now we've got Tyee, sponsored by RPM Discs. And this is looking good. Yeah, a little short left. That's kind of what you're looking for on this shot. We've got Danny coming up short left. He's going to have a bit of obstruction to deal with on this upshot. But handles it pretty nicely. It's going to be a little long. Should have about 25 feet coming back for his par. And, yeah, this is going to be a common theme out here at Wilder. If you miss the fairway, you got lots of shrubbery to deal with. Let's see if Trevor can navigate this. Just did like a brief look into his bag while I was filming this round. I believe this is an Envy that he's got in his hand here. And there you hear him say it just slipped out. It's going to have circle two left for par. Trevor's a great putter, so should be able to give this a chance to go in. Right on line, little short. And then we've got Danny trying to clean up his par. Also a little short. And then we've got two birdie looks coming up as well. And right off the front iron for him as well. Some putting woes to start for these boys. And something to mention, weather not exactly perfect for this event. It was kind of off and on rain all day. And out here on the coast, you're always going to deal with at least a little bit of wind. So, oh, and Micah leaves that one short as well. So we'll have a couple of bogey cleanups here. Actually, 3 to start for our feature card. And then we'll have the one tap-in birdie for Tyee. Didn't realize how close that drive got. Got up there to about 10 feet.
Thank you. Generally.
So as we move off of hole 1, we've got 3 bogeys for the card and then the 1 birdie from Tyee. And then moving into hole 2, kind of a technical par 3. And once again, you can see here, if you get off the fairway, it's going to be some tricky footing at the very least, and probably a pretty tight line up to the green. Tyee luckily does not have to deal with that problem. He absolutely squares the fairway, puts it up inside the circle. Let's see if Danny can do the same, and hits an early tree. Once again, going to have some work to do for par. This track out at Wilder, pretty cool course. It's got a good mix of open holes, wooded holes. You play about 6 or 7 holes out in the open, kind of littered throughout the round, and then a lot of the course happens in the woods, just like we're seeing here. And now we've got Micah. Also finds an early tree. And here's Danny going to his patented zone turnover. Looks like it hit a tree up on the green and kind of just feeds into circle 1. Should have a pretty makeable look for par. And then we've got Micah from the left trees here. Let's see if he can give himself a look for par. Also going to the zone turnover. Leaves it a little short, and he's going to have a slightly obstructed look for par, but something he can handle. And here's Trevor up on the green. He's got this tree to negotiate with. Going to have to go to a low spinner. And releases it just a little high, catches the tree on the way in. Should have a tap in for par. Oh, man. Really couldn't have hit that any more center. And just to kick the man while he's down, rolls almost back to his feet. I don't know what happened. It probably just the combination of a high velocity spin putt with wet chains. We're already out on the course, so the chains are going to be... I've heard something about golf courses that are on the coast having salt on the chains and making it harder to catch. You guys can do your own research into that, but Micah cleans up his par successfully. And Danny, unfortunately, having to take bogey here. Dead center from about 20 feet, just right back at him. And we've got Trevor's tap in here. And then Tyee, I believe he was just tucked into the trees just behind the pin, so should have a pretty makeable look here for birdie. And there he is. So once again, Tyee able to grab a stroke, if not more, on the entire card and getting off to a hot start. What else do you expect from the local? So we've got Danny Kitchens at 2 over, Tyee at 2 under already, creating 4 strokes of separation, and Trevor and Micah kind of filling in the gaps there at +1. This hole seemed to be very tricky. It's 400 feet up and over the rise and then kind of into those trees on the right. Really hard to actually get a look here at birdie. Just because you got to hit the height correctly and then keep it on turn the whole way and not let it burn also. That one looks a little low from Trevor. Should be able to figure out something for par. And now we've got Micah here. Micah going with a little bit more of a direct line, fading out a little early. Probably going to be a little short. Should have something left for par. And then Danny going with his huge sidearm. Looks good from the tee. We'll see where it ended up. Like I said, really hard to actually get the distance correct and get all the way up into these trees to get yourself a look. But this is pretty typical what you'll see. Just end up short, chip a little sidearm into these trees, take your par, and move on. Danny got himself a little bit of a putt here. That should be working for par. And then Tyee actually with the drive of the group. Ooh, tries to stay perfect. And just a little off on his birdie attempt here. And my goodness, look at this lie Micah has crawled himself into. Oh, what an effort. Micah a little bit on the struggle bus as far as the putting green goes so far. Trevor hits a solid par save there. This one had to be one of the harder birdies for the round. And then here we've got Micah cleaning up his bogey look. Strokes kind of flying early here on this feature card. And Tyee able to clean up his par. And so here we are. We've got Micah and Danny Kitchens at 2 over. Trevor still at 1 over. And then Tyee at 2 under par, going 2 for 3 on the first 3. Great start. And then now we've got hole 4. It says it's 231. Probably plays something more like 330, 340. Going back up the hill here, this is kind of the conventional route that you'll see from most people. Just kind of throw something straight to stable through that right gap. Tyee demonstrating that perfectly. Trevor trying to follow Tyee's line. Don't think he was intentionally trying to go on this inside route. There is a way up to the pin through there, but got to get some super, super late flip to get all the way up to the green. Micah maybe missed his line a bit there, but ends up short left with a putt. And then Danny going with this big high turnover forehand. Ends up hitting the ceiling. He's going to kick off to the right. He's got work to do for par, and then hits an early tree again. Here's Danny's third, going back to the turnover zone. Should be able to clean up his bogey from there. Trevor got himself a look for birdie. Going to dry up a little bit short. Micah's got about 25 feet straight uphill. And into the cage again. There we go. We've got Tyee in for birdie once again. Starting out with a 3 for 4 start, exactly what you're looking for. And now that we've seen it, we've got 2 birdies for the entire day on this hole. You just saw one of them from Tyee, and then shout out to Pedro Tato taking down the other birdie on hole 4. And Micah able to clean up his par. Trevor able to do the same. And then we'll see Danny come along and clean up his bogey. Like I said, not the best conditions today. Tyee trying to get his footing going up this hill. And there you see it. We've got Tyee off to a hot start, 3 for 4 to start. And then we've got Danny Kitchens kind of falling another stroke off the pace here. Still plenty of golf left to be played.
Coming soon to Salem, Oregon. Rain or shine, discs.
Welcome back into hole 5. Shout out to our sponsors for this coverage. And here we've got Tyee. We've got kind of two routes on hole 5. 234 plays a little left to right. You've got what you just saw there from Tyee getting himself into circle 1, kind of this left route. And then the alternate route is that route that Trevor was going for, kind of straight at the pin, maybe on a flex sidearm. And Micah kicking way left. That's going to be in trouble to say par, to say the least. As you can kind of see here, anything that's off the fairway, you're definitely going to be scrambling at the very least. Here we've got Trevor once again. I believe this is a Prodigy A3 that he's thrown on his sidearm approaches. Trevor cheesing for the camera there. And Micah just directly behind this wall of trees. He's going to have to go up and over them, and he's probably got at least 180 into the pin. Navigates the early gap, but then hits something late. Gonna have a putt at the very least to say par. Here's Danny's putt for birdie. Was able to kind of squeak his way up to a look there. And here's Micah's look for par. Let's see if he can get something going on the green. Catches a chain. No cigar, unfortunately, for Micah. And Trevor's still got a tricky one here for par. And he's going to have to settle for bogey. Great cleanup there from Micah. Way to stop the bleeding. And Mr. Kitchen's able to save his par. And this is where Tyee's drive ended up. He's got about 10 feet left for birdie once again. And able to put it right on the stripe. Great start for Tyee, 4 out of 5.
Need your what?
And there you see it, Tyee off to a very hot start. And everybody else has some catching up left to do for sure. That's kind of what this course does to you. It creates lots of stroke separation. If you hit the gap, a lot of these shots are very doable. This one not being one of them, unfortunately. This one is a very, very tough, long downhill par 3. Danny's got the shot to do it. It's going to take a power sidearm, kind of flex through this gap here, just like you're seeing. Pin is pretty significantly downhill to the right. Kind of in line with that Mando sign, just way down the hill from there. And Danny actually did it pretty well. We're going to see if Trevor can do it as well. And yeah, both of those sidearms executed pretty well. Should have looks for birdie. Maybe not super close, but this one definitely being one of the bonus birdies out here at Wilder. And Micah gets back-to-back, couple of just death kicks off to the left. And here you see he's climbing into literally a wall of trees. With what he's got on, I cannot even see him in there. That's kind of why I left that in there, so that people had a general idea of where he's playing from. And, you know, honestly does a great job just to get back to the fairway from there. Now has probably about 250 down the hill. And now you can see the pin. And that one going a little long right. Should have a look for bogey. And Tyee, even before we played this hole, he looks at me and he says, nope, not going for it. Just trying to put my drive on the path and then get up and down for par. Because really, this is what you're throwing such a risky shot for. To get up to, you know, circle 2 look. And honestly, it's a circle 2 look that's honestly a death putt as well. It's kind of a drop off behind the pin, so Tyee kind of just knowing the course and saying, you know, if I put one down the center, it's a pretty easy par from there. Here's Micah's putt for bogey. My goodness, these baskets are having trouble catching that dead center putt. It's those wet chains. And luckily for Micah, does catch it there, but and this will be Tyee's look to stay bogey-free through 6. And that's well done. And that's really what you're going to see from this hole. Not a whole lot of birdies. If you play it correctly, should be a pretty attainable par. And then if you hit something early, good luck saving your par. And if you walk away with a bogey from there, pretty well executed shot from there. So there you see Micah walking across the screen, still keeping good spirits. Yeah, everybody else off to a pretty rough start, but Tyee kind of showing him how to do it. And then we step into hole 7. This is kind of a hole, I've personally never seen a hole like this before. We've got 205, but it's a straight 90-degree turn to the left. And you can see kind of just in the distance there, you see that orange pole. That's to notate where the basket is. So Tyee is now short left of the pin. Probably going to have some kind of look, but very easy. And then the backside of this pin is lined with OB. You'll see when we get up to the green, but you've only got maybe 10 feet behind the pin. And Danny going with the turnover sidearm once again. This is kind of fading out a little early, and it is going to find that OB just behind the pin, so he'll be left with a look for par. Micah going with the high spike hyzer play. And he's going to be up on the green somewhere. Tyee right behind the stump. Decides not to run that. Probably a wise decision. And here, like we were saying, here's the OB line just behind the pin. And Danny, very quick player. Sets, looks at the basket and fires. And very clean putt there for par. And then now we've got Micah about 20 feet down the hill for birdie. Let's see if he can get his round going. And right in the center. Micah's got a very confident spin putt. And when it's working, he's got range. So hopefully Micah can get something going on this round here. And Trevor tapping in for birdie here was able to stay in bounds, so we'll have a couple of birdies, couple of pars, lots of stroke separation on this hole, a couple of different ways to play it. Tyee kind of playing the safe par approach. And a couple of the boys trying to fight back to even here, so Tyee able to preserve the hot start through 7. 4 down through 7 is a very, very hot start. And hole 8 uphill says it's 162 as the crow flies, probably playing more like 275-ish. Going straight up the hill here. And just over that mural art there is kind of the line these boys are trying to hit on a slight hyzer. There you can see the basket off in the distance. And yeah, obviously best gap up to the pin is going to be that one that you're seeing just above the mural. Let's see if Tyee can keep the hot round going. Go into his RPM Kia. And just a little bit inside on that one. Now we've got Trevor here. Everybody so far just a little inside of that line that you're trying to hit. And all 4 of our players will be inside. All going to be scrambling for par. And this green is not the one that you want to be throwing a longer approach into just because there's a huge drop-off just behind the pin. Trevor throws it very well there. Tyee giving his a chance to go in, trying to keep that hot round going right off the band. My goodness. Does not care about death behind it, gives it a chance to go in, hits the band, and probably stays close. We'll see when we get up to the green. And Micah kind of just laying up for par here. And there you can see just behind, if you go another 3 feet past where Trevor ended up there, you run into some trouble coming back up to this green, but not something this card is going to have to deal with. You see all 4 of the players here kind of up on the flat. All got looks at par. Tyee might have this tree to contend with, but he's a solid putter. Should be able to put this one in. Puts his RPM Takapoo right in the middle. Once again, keeps it bogey-free through 8.
Got a quick question, guys. How am I going to get behind this?
And Danny having trouble getting his feet behind his lie, trying to ask his card mates how they would play it. And he's going to go with the old stick a foot in there and lean back approach. Able to put it in.
Yeah.
And as we come to the end of the front 9 here, Tyee really the only one putting one together so far. Birdies few and far between for the rest of the card so far. As you can see here, we got a couple guys over par. Tyee hanging on to 4 down through 8. And heading into our last hole of the front 9 here at Wilder.
Do it.
Very stock hole. This is probably the first must get that you'll see out here. Really nothing to it. Hit this right gap. Choose forehand or backhand. Put something on the green. And Micah's going to have about a circle's edger to get his birdie. Now I've got Tyee. Oh, hits the... really the only tree that you're in contention with coming into this green. And he's going to have a circle 2 putt coming up the hill to get his birdie. Now we see Trevor going back to that A3. Throws it well. And gets a little bit of an unlucky break to kind of roll halfway down the hill. Should have about 20 feet. left for his birdie. And Danny going to the very overstable MVP deflector. And that's kind of what you're looking for. Just put something up on the green. Give yourself a look. It's only 144, so really most people should be getting a look at birdie here. Here's Tyee coming up the hill. Leaves it a little short. Micah also leaving his putt a little short. Let's see if Trevor can save grace for the card here. Like I said, really is a must-get, especially for the MPO division. 144, not much in the way. And this card just has a case of the shorts. Let's see if Danny can kind of save the card here. Our last look at birdie. Able to put it right in the middle. And kind of get back on the right track for Danny. Bit of a slow start. Let's see if that'll kind of give him some momentum going into the back 10, actually, on this track. We got 19 holes. And Micah just experiencing the putting woes. We've all been there, especially on a wet round. Really hard to get good grip on the putter. Definitely not what you want on this hole. Gonna pick up the bogey. We've got a couple of pars, and then the one birdie from Danny. And that'll do it for our front nine. Once again, shout out to our sponsors of this coverage. And yeah, we'll see you soon on the back nine. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next upload. And thanks everybody for the support. See you soon.